All right, and we're back with the Lakers Fast Break podcast. It's Gerald coming right back at you here. Thank you so much for watching and listening. We are back once again for the late night edition on the back end of this program. If you're listening on audio, you've already heard what TJ Johnson, my good friend, had to say about the Lakers. You already heard what the madman for LakerHolics.com, Mr. Shad Grice, big shout out to you, he had to say. But we got to go ahead and talk to two more great guests, and hopefully a third if he's able to join us, because I know it's late for him. But it is the guys on the West Coast here for LakerHolics.com. It is Jamie Sweet and LakerTom. And guys, great to have you back. I know it's been another busy day for the Lakers. I feel a little bit more at ease after the wheeling to the retirement home, as I've been told on many times already via text. That was yesterday, and I feel a little bit better. I know we emphasized shooting, and we covered a lot of that. There are still some concerns, but there are still some assets out there in play, like, for instance, first off, the pending sign and trade, hopefully, that Dennis Schroeder might still do, or if he can accomplish that. I know for LakerTom, he found certain enjoyment and irony in Andre Drummond's eventual stop. So he's no longer going to be on the team, so I know he's excited about that. But Jamie Sweet, you already heard me earlier on the show talk to you, Sean, about all the upgrades that they've done so far. I mean, there's a concern about the age. There's a concern about the defense. But we definitely upgraded overall in shooting, and I think we need to start off with there.
Yeah, I mean, the shooting definitely got upgraded. There's no question about that. We went from a couple of guys who can hit threes to, I think, we've got a solid 5 guys on the roster right now who can hit threes.
Yeah,
2 of them
something like that.
On the young side. And I'm not counting LeBron and AD. Obviously, we know LeBron and AD can score the ball from anywhere.
Well, let me go over this. Carmelo hit 40% from 3 last year. Trevor Ariza is 35. Well, not his age. He's actually 36. So he hit his age around that much in the past and previous years from the wing. Wayne Ellington is a 40% three-point shooter. Kent Bazemore hit 40% for Golden State. Kendrick Nunn is 38%, but that guy can fill it up. Just give him the ball, and he's going to score some points. And Malik Monk hit at 40% last year. So that's like you said, round 5, maybe 6. Yeah, round 5. So
I mean, Ariza can get hot, but he's not. I don't consider Trevor Ariza a knockdown three-point shooter. In the same
he's not there for shooting either.
No, but I mean what I find kind of mystifying about him is, I mean, he's not.
We kind of played himself out of Miami. Let's get that started. He didn't quite work out there.
Yeah, and that's a little. I'm a little worried about that. I like Trevor Ariza. I'm the Trevor Ariza of
2010.
11 years ago.
It was a long time since he was a Laker. We remember those days.
Yes. Cannot thank him enough. Cannot thank him enough for that contribution. But the same thing can be said for Wayne Ellington. The same can be said for Carmelo Anthony. I mean, that would have been a great haul yesterday if it was 2018 or if it's 2014. But it's 2021, so it's a little bit
great
harder.
Haul for 2021, Gerald.
This year is today is much better. I really like Kendrick Nunn and Malik Monk.
These are all really good signings for the vet minimum. That's true.
Kendrick Nunn was 2 years, $10 million for the player
most
options.
of the MLE.
Yeah, whatever. Right, that's fine. I mean, that's fine.
Yeah, but he could have had the whole MLE as far as I was concerned. That was a great signing.
Very great signing.
Yeah,
him and Monk kind of saved free agency. I feel like, because we got.
I agree.
Because
I actually, it's difficult to choose which one of these. If you want to nail a couple of people, the two that I like best are probably the two guys I think are going to be the starters, or should be the starters if they go with AD at the 5, which is Bazemore and Kendrick Nunn. Man, I mean, those are the two guys.
Nunn, yes.
They're the guys that, number one, we paid the most money to, and number 2, we promised Bazemore a major role to get him to come here instead of going to Golden State. So and we need some defense. Those are also the 2 best defenders that we brought in, because Ariza, you don't know what you're going to get.
No.
Yes,
but Nunn is an excellent defender, and Bazemore is an excellent defender. So all of a sudden, you put those guys out there with LeBron and AD, and you've covered anything that's going to go with West gambling. And I think he'll learn to fit in and play the team defense. I think it'll be forced on him.
And let's clear this up on Kendrick Nunn. Yeah, he's listed as a point guard because he's 6'2", but he really plays off the ball. He really just give him the ball. He's going to drive. He loves driving to the basket. He shoots free throws well. He hits 38%, and he can score the ball. That's paramount.
And I hate haters, man. They drive everybody crazy. Guarding a left-hander is always an extra chore in the game, you know.
Yeah. I would still love the fact with that sign and trade that they should do something to shore up the small forward position, and that's what I'm hoping they do.
Bigger wing defender is really our only weakness now. You know, if we could get somebody like Otto Porter Jr.
He's gone. That was the best.
I know. We just need somebody like that who is on a team and has a contract, so we can trade for him.
Yes, or maybe James Ennis if he's still available. I know that's been talked about as well.
Yeah, he's a good shooter too.
Yeah. The only thing I want to ask guys right now, I mean, we talked about, we'll get to starting lineups here in a second and all that. And I think I'm echoing off Tom for some reason. I just want to make sure and let everybody know that thanks again. It's the Lakers Fast Break. I want to go ahead and that's better. That's better. But yes, and make sure everybody knows that, is there really an 8.3 trade exception for what would happen with Alex Caruso? Because depending on who you talk to,
4.6 is what Eric Pincus said.
I thought it was 8.3. 8.3 is a number that was tossed around quite a bit yesterday. I've not heard 4.6, but there is a trade exception of some type.
Yeah.
Yes, for Daniel Tice.
It's better than a minimum player, which is one of the reasons I don't think we've filled those last two slots.
No,
hopefully we can fill those slots with guys that guys that we can trade for, basically, who are under contract with the team, so we don't have a sign and trade. Yeah,
that's true for trades on that. You can't really pick them up with buyouts. So it's something
it's better than unless some more guys want to come to the Lakers on a minimum contract, like Malik Monk did. I mean, thank God, good for you, Malik. Man, you're going to be one of my favorite players from now on. That's a guy putting his career into a really thoughtful position. I'm going to take a 1-year minimum contract and go to the Lakers and get some highlight reels and
well, he's 23. He still has plenty of time to do it. So, I mean, he's still got his whole future ahead of him. So that's a good move right now for us. And again, I mean, Carmelo Anthony, Trevor Ariza, Dwight Howard, Wayne Ellington, Kent Bazemore, all these guys that are in their years, if they can just give us 10 to 15 minutes a game of productive basketball, that's all I'm looking for.
Well, they've been playing. Most of the guys that you're talking about have been playing 20 to 25 minutes a game.
Yeah, I think that.
There are more guys out there who need minutes than we got minutes. So
yeah.
I mean, and that was a problem last year because, especially with Dennis and Montrez, the two guys who sort of sacrificed to come to the Lakers in some opinions. And, I hope we don't have that same problem this year.
That's just the market. That's what it dictated.
I know that's the problem is I guess that we approached it with an attitude that we're going to have to sign a lot of minimum players. So let's get the best ones we can and we'll throw them up against the wall and we'll see who sticks.
That's right. That's exactly the strategy.
Yeah, that was the strategy. And lo and behold, it's like we threw it up against the wall and they all stuck. And then Frank Vogel's sitting there probably saying, oh, man, I mean, it's going to be, the minutes are going to be a fight.
Minutes are going to be a fight, and the defense is going to be.
And that's with two slots open that may be more than a minimum, that have the potential to be more than a minimum player. Although I think we're going to leave one slot open. I would expect we would.
What the thing to me is, defense is like Jamie Sweet alluded to. Is this team a top 15 defense? That's the problem. I think that's the problem with all the age and the
really changed. We lost 2 defenders.
No.
We gained a 30. We gained a 30.
Schroeder. No, we're going to lose Schroeder. Schroeder's a great defender.
Yeah,
I saw a lot of analysis on Dennis that said basically that he was all show and not And when you look at the individual defensive stats for the team, he's always he's always second or third from the bottom.
Yeah, no, but I mean, he fit in with our defensive identity,
right? And we added Ariza, Nunn, and Bazemore, who I think have defensive capabilities.
Yeah,
we lost KCP and Caruso,
right?
And maybe Wes Matthews, who were all really big defenders for us.
Markieff Morris, we lost.
Yes, he went to Miami.
Right. Well, he didn't come back to Los Angeles is really what happens first. And then you go to Miami or Philadelphia or whatever.
Carmelo Anthony, you already know what you're going to get. You're going to get someone who can only play one side of the ball. Trevor Ariza, like you mentioned, you don't know what you're going to get at 36 years old.
36 years old. You just hope we can.
No, our defense probably won't be as good, but I don't think it's going to be a problem. Now, somebody mentioned that, hey, we get a report card. I gave an A for Rob's report card for this season, off season. And somebody brought up the point that I gave an A to him last year too.
That's exactly. I wasn't going to even say that, but you did.
Hey, listen, when you're not shy about making predictions, you're going to be wrong, a lot of the time. So, anyway,
conservative.
I think that last year we thought the defense was going to be good, but we thought we really traded some defense for offense, and it looks like we were right that we only traded a little bit of defense, but we didn't get much offense really on it. And the offense that we got really became illusory as soon as LeBron and AD got injured, because these were players that really couldn't get their own shot and basically were relying upon LeBron or Dennis when he was in the right mood to get him the ball. This year, the projection is that we should be dramatically better on offense, especially when LeBron's not in the game. And that was really our Achilles heel offensively ever since LeBron. But it's been LeBron's Achilles heel on every team he's had.
The number of threes attempted by the Lakers will definitely go up.
Oh, and that's good. And the thing that I loved about the 3-point shooters, not only did we add, we added 5 guys who shot better than 38%. And we traded away the only 2 guys we had last year who shot better than 36%. So that was a good move. But the big thing about it is that we picked up 4 guys who shoot over 5 threes a game. So we didn't get Buddy Hield with his 10 threes a game, which is, that's like that's like the golden goose for me, but I'll take 4 guys who shoot 5 at 40%.
Otto Porter was the big miss for me, especially because he signed for the minimum in Golden State. I really thought that would have been someone who is needed.
Yeah, we need a backup. We don't have a backup point guard yet.
Well, I mean, the backup point guard is LeBron James in all senses.
True,
but yeah. And Kendrick Nunn can play, and Malik Monk both play like a transition guard because of their size. They're not the largest.
And Horton Tucker basically has been slated to be a ball handler. They want the ball in his hands when he's in the game.
Right.
And he's now the 3rd highest paid Laker.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4.
He better find that 3-point stroke. He better find that 3-point stroke. But J. John Sorceda's out there, our good friend out there, wanted to go ahead and make sure to let you know he wants a big man to complete the roster. That's tough, though, because you got Marc Gasol with that whopping 0 he got against Spain. He's on the roster, and he's already going to go and pick up his contract. And then you have Dwight Howard and his 2 offensive fouls and 2 technical foul that he's going to get. But good, solid defense when he does pay attention to the game. Yeah, he's going to be fun. He's always interesting.
Well, he had over 40. He had over 40 non-charge offensive fouls and over 40 turnovers, which is one of the reasons that they weren't really high on bringing him back, to Philadelphia. I think a big thing with him maybe is playing for LeBron. LeBron has his respect, and he was really a great citizen when he was on the Lakers. And even you could even see occasionally when he got carried out in the court and did a stupid foul, that a lot of the times he he was almost apologetic for it at times, and understanding that he's got to control his temperament when he's on the court so that he doesn't hurt the team. So I think that the influence. I was all for Dwight, even though I maligned the whole decision last year. Maybe it was the wrong decision, because I sure didn't.
Because you grouped both of them. You grouped him and the Olympian JaVale McGee.
Right. Well, but there was never a doubt that Dwight was a valuable component in when we played Jokic, and if we played Embiid, you need somebody like Dwight.
Wait, speaking of the Olympics, was it hilarious to you when the NBC goes and has the game between USA versus Spain that they play the same theme that they played back in the 80s and 90s? I don't know. I just point them on that.
I didn't watch it because I don't have
Peacock.
YouTube.
You watching the highlights on YouTube on the NBC Sports channel there. It's so funny because you hear that. I'm like, is that John Tesh? That is John Tesh right there for you. Right. But J. John Cerceda is still in there. Mr. Triple Double Russ will do it all. And I responded, I just wish he could shoot. And he says, Melo can shoot from the arc, but the thing is, Russ takes a lot of shots, so we're hoping he can keep it under control with LeBron there in his ear, and the fact that Melo shooting 40% and so many of the crew. That's some encouragement right there that they can now compete on a 3-point level. If with these guys as they get older, hopefully they'll understand that 15 to 20 minutes, maybe if you're getting some productive usage out of them, that's what you're looking for. Again, this is not about the regular season for me. I'm talking about matchups as I did when they got Russ. I'm hoping that they will provide better matchups, and with all the shooting, I think it will. It's just I'm worried about the defense, and Jamie, sounds like you are as well.
100%. We're talking about we have these transition guards. The way you get into transition basketball is you play good defense, and you rebound the ball. One and done, get steals, deflections, get out on the break. I don't know who our best on-ball defender is right now. I guess it's Kendrick Nunn.
Yeah, but he's 6'2". Big guards will probably give him a little bit of fits.
I think the defense is going to be a big question, and that's where Frank's going to, Frank's up for a contract extension. I'm sure he would like a contract extension, and he will get that contract extension if the Lakers have a top 10 defense, I predict. So that's the challenge. Can AD play whatever position AD is playing? Can he play at an all defensive player of the year level for the whole season? Affect shots from the rim to the 3-point line, and can we get out on the break to make use of these guys who are great break finishers? If we don't get out in transition, if we're middle of the pack in transition for the Lakers
that's a killer.
Time winning.
Yeah, I don't think that can happen this year.
Not with Westbrook.
I definitely think it can happen this year.
We may lose because we turned the ball over a million times.
The honeymoon's always wonderful. Yeah. We're in the honeymoon phase right now. We have all these.
Well, yeah, we may be in the honeymoon phase, but you're already worrying about whether the husband's going to leave his shoes laying around and clothes laying around that place, and
exactly.
But how tough the wife's going to be as far as cleaning things up and so forth.
We'll find out. What I think is going to work better this season than last is our half-court offense because of Westbrook, and because of guys like AD and Dwight, frankly. Russ can run a pick and roll as well as anybody, and he can set up a lob as well as anybody in the league. That's Russell Westbrook's half-court game to a T. So he's actually going to improve a little bit. And when having guys who can kick it out to is going to improve. But we have to be better than middle of the pack in our transition offense. If we're middle of the pack in the NBA with our transition offense, we're going to struggle to win close games, I think.
Well, that's what happened this past year. Once the injury started happening, the transition game went. Dennis Schroeder does not push the ball, even though he's very quick, he's very fast. He doesn't push the ball up court.
He takes the Union 15 with it every time.
Yeah, and he stops it right at half court and then sets everything up. But Russell, he's going to push it and jam it down your throat, and that's what I appreciate. Are the turnovers going to go up? Most likely, which was a problem last season.
Russ and LeBron are not a low turnover team.
Yeah, exactly, and nor people should expect it. But if the transition points work out, that's going to be a lot better. If the 3-point goes up, the attempts and the makes go up. That's going to offset that. I know J. John Cerceda said Malik Monk and Kendrick Nunn are a good addition to replace KCP and Caruso. I want to ask you this, guys. Caruso has been a hot button issue all over Lakers Twitter for the past 24 hours. Caruso was offered a deal by the Lakers, but it was substantially lower than what he ultimately got from Chicago. LakerTom, your thoughts on losing Caruso? Was it the right move or ultimately the wrong move?
Well, I think it was the right move. The inside scuttlebutt that I'm reading is that just like a lot of the people on there were people on the Lakers who were against making the Westbrook trade, and there were also people on the Lakers who weren't really that high on Caruso, to be honest. I took the latest salary cap calculations for the team, which basically said that we'd have a payroll of 197,000, not counting our 14th
million.
149 million, 197 million, excuse me, and a luxury tax of 42 million. So I went out and calculated through the luxury tax calculator that you can get online. If anybody's ever interested in figuring it out, it automatically you plug in how your payroll is and what the cap is, and it spits out how much luxury tax you have. So if we were to add Caruso right now, let's say we hadn't turned him down, he hadn't signed, our payroll would have jumped up 10 million to 165 million instead of 155. Our tax would have jumped up from 42 to 78, an increase of 36 million, meaning that the cost of Alex, and obviously, man, this is not a fair way of distributing that tax. It should probably be distributed, either given all to Russell Westbrook or distributed, in a pro rata share across the thing. But
pretty sure the Westbrook.
But when you say, okay, how much does it cost to add Alex Caruso? The cost is $46 million.
Not quite Kelly Oubre level,
$36 million. So that's not the same as
I'm pretty sure that's like 2 nights at Staples Center. So,
yeah. But I'm just saying it's not.
No, man, listen, the Lakers are going to pay. They're going to be up there in the tax.
I'm pretty sure the TV deal ranks in billions of dollars.
Yeah, but it's all with these.
Regardless of that, it's their money, as you pointed out many times.
Oh, yeah. Many times.
And it's obvious that they didn't turn down Alex because of $10 million. They turned him down because of $46 million.
But if they gain anybody else, that's going to offset everything again and all over. Let's say if Dennis Schroeder gets signed and traded for some assets.
Well, but they could sign Dennis. See, they could sign Dennis. You don't pay the luxury tax until the last day of the year. That's when it's calculated. So they could sign Dennis and trade him into somebody's cap space at the midpoint of the year.
Who's going to have cap space at the midpoint?
And the thing is,
a lot of people would.
He's going to be very miserable unless he gets to a new team.
Yeah, I don't see.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, a lot of people have suggested that. I mean, here his cap holds $16 million.
I actually don't want
to about what he's really worth right now on the market,
which is like $65 million in taxes. So
I mean, some people would.
Yeah, right.
Some people have said, "I really want to be."
If you kept him the whole year, so it would be definitely.
There's no way Schroeder's on the team come camp.
No.
There's just no way.
You got to trade him, and hopefully we end up with 2 trade exceptions.
Somebody, I'm just going to say this. Somebody said that they would love to be a fly on the wall of the Schroeder household right now to listen to how many expletives are flying at the agent of Dennis Schroeder.
I'm sure Dennis is going to change agents before next.
Did you guys see agency? That he replied to a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander tweet?
Did he?
Who did get paid?
Yes.
Yep.
$174 million.
And Dennis was like, "Hey, way to go! You got the money. Good job."
Yes.
Well, he's familiar with Oklahoma City. It's.
But Oklahoma doesn't really want to bring that on.
They're one of the few people that. No, sure.
No.
Are you
kidding
they're bringing
me?
It for assets. Will take him on because he knows he can probably get a pick from him down the road.
Well, that's the thing. That's what they're taking in. They're taking in all these bad contracts. They'll take in bad contracts if they can get assets out of it.
he's been amazing. I mean, you have to really admire the job that Sam's done, because he's gotten picks for guys that I thought he would have to send picks out to get rid of those contracts. It's really amazing, the job that he did, and his coaching staff and Chris Paul in redeeming CP3 after his contract was basically set in albatross and you're never going to move him. He's going to be on this team forever, because obviously as president of the players union, there's no way he's going to take a cut and dump, one huge amount of salary in order to get free to go somewhere. He's going to take him right to the last damn day of his contract, and pay me. And somebody's going to pay him $100 million now, apparently.
Apparently, indeed. Yes. But
a lot of money to old guys, huh? I kind of like that.
Well, you saw what happened with Stephen Curry today, getting paid well over $200 million, and that's something that's going to be extended on his career. But guys,
considering that he didn't get paid the first time around, which allowed them to get KD.
Yeah, well, I'm glad he's getting it now. But guys, before we head on out, that's actually the second $200 million contract, so he's good that he's gotten. So
he's fine.
He's fine. Plus, holy moly, there you go. He's fine. But guys, before we head on out, we should get back. Start speculating. Then when we come back for another episode about starting lineups, because maybe the moves are not finished yet for the Lakers, but. Yeah. Right now, I want to go ahead and give an overall grade for the team. And before we head on out, Jamie Sweet, I'll start with you first. I moved it up from a D+ last night to a C+. I really liked what they did today.
I'm a solid B.
You're a solid B?
I'm a solid B right now.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. Why is that?
I think we didn't have to sacrifice as much defense as we did. I think if we had not signed Ariza and kept Caruso, I would be in A territory. I don't see what I like Jared Dudley. I don't see a big role for Ariza on this team. I just don't, and I don't see who our best on-ball defender is. So that's why I'm still in B land. I think we're going to have a real problem defending the pick and roll this season, and we're going to get eaten alive by pick and roll masters. Guys like Chris Paul, Trae Young, and that's going to be a problem in the playoffs too. That's my biggest concern right now. Is I don't see a great pick and roll defender on our team anymore. Now
I agree.
We could be like we're saying that there's two roster spots available. Who do I think is our starting lineup right now? Westbrook, obviously starting point guard. I would go Kendrick Nunn over anyone else to start at the 2. And I would go Bazemore at the 3. LeBron at the 4 and AD at the 5. Now, having said that, do I expect the Lakers to do that? I don't. I don't expect the Lakers.
At least they're not going to start Dwight. That
No, they're going to start.
They're going to start Dwight with Russ in the line.
No, they're going to bring Dwight off the bench like he has been. They're going to start Mark.
They'll start Mark. So at least, and hopefully Mark. I remember the game when Mark came back and he actually shot 5 or 6 threes.
No, that's the thing, right?
That's the thing. He's got to shoot the ball, man. You can't just stand there and,
If Mark starts, that slides Kent over to the 2.
Yeah.
I still have issues with Mark as far as concerned because, for instance,
this team is rife with speed and defensive issues at multiple positions.
Yeah,
I've been trying so long to get AD to start that I can't. That I have to admit that I feel pretty forlorn about it happening. It's like, it's like falling in love with a girl, and having a crush on somebody, and for years go by and you never. And then when it happens, you hope you hope it's the perfect solution. And I do think that everything revolving around the Lakers really came to a head when AD and LeBron met with Russ and said that, listen, if you come aboard, we'll move down a slot and play the 4 and 5. Well, from the start, it doesn't make sense if you got Russ in the lineup. He's coming to play with LeBron and AD, and they talked about how they would do it, and that's how they should do it. And that gets you 2 shots at getting shooters to regularly spread the floor around him.
If any years it's going to happen, it's this.
And Gasol can't be one of those two shooters because he won't shoot. Now, if he was shooting, if he shot 6 times a game and shot at 40%, I'd probably say fine. Except it's not our best defense. It's not our best offense. And it's time the Lakers, this is the opportunity we have for the Lakers to finally put their best team out there. And so if you give him 4 to 6 minutes at the start of the game and the closing of the half, the start of the second half, and so forth, he'll spend maybe 20 of his 32 minutes a game, playing the 5.
We'll see what happens, but yeah, it is the best lineup if AD's playing the 5 and LeBron's playing the 4. We'll see what happens.
And it's great. I agree 100% with Jamie's lineup. It's the same lineup I have, and it's primarily because Nunn and Bazemore are 2 guys who are pretty feisty defenders. They're solid defenders. They're plus defenders. They're not just average defenders. And so they don't hurt. They help the starting lineup rather than hurting it. And then also too, I've come around to Jamie's point of view on Westbrook that all of this sort of disrespecting Russell and talking about it, nothing but his faults is ignoring the fact that the guy averages a triple-double, man. The Lakers,
even wrecking ball.
And he's perfect for getting the Lakers to run. You cannot not run if you got Russell Westbrook.
I understand that, but for me, again, it's all about matchups in the playoffs. And for someone who statistically is the worst shooter in NBA history,
when he was with the Rockets, he went through a period of almost a month where, to make a point, he didn't shoot, and it's just went crazy. But he's capable of it, and he's seen what Harden has done. He saw what Harden's done with Brooklyn, and we're talking about him joining. It's even Russ is not going to say this Lakers are his team.
Well, again, we won't see it in the regular season.
Team.
You play differently in the regular season than you do in the playoffs. I expect the Lakers to go ahead with this crew and win 55, 60 games. That's not out of the realm of possibility. Be at number 1 or number 2 in the West.
73-9, man.
Top 4 in the West, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how hard they try during the season, and then if there's any injuries. That's the thing is with LeBron and AD, as I always say, they could take us 3 and they could win 40 games, with them because they're so good if they're healthy. The thing is with these guys,
there's a good chance to be healthy if you got all of these guys to play minutes, so you can reduce the number of minutes.
And that better happen. And I know, and then because I know that was mentioned in one of the comments that was made, like, well, LeBron could play 37 minutes. No, the idea is for LeBron not to play 37 minutes a game during
35 minutes or something.
Yeah, I would love to say even 33, 34 minutes a game. That would be something that would be so beneficial for the Lakers down the road. But
yeah,
Jamie has a B. I have a C+. LakerTom, your final grade so far? I mean, there's still hopefully more to be done. A minus, okay. Right now. Okay, I think that's more realistic than the A, that sparkling A that he gave last year. That actually, a lot of people. A lot of people were on your same boat. A lot of people.
No, listen. These are nothing more than all of these. All of what we're doing now is making guesses at what we think the grade's going to be.
Yeah.
Because the real grade can't be determined until the end of the year. You know what you did in the season.
That's true, because there's so many people like LakerTom last year that was like, okay, this is, it's now the Lakers and everybody else. The chasm between the two teams, and the chasm was so big, and everybody was talking about how great the offseason did.
It did look like that, just like it looks this year for the West.
I said last year, I know Sean had an issue with Gasol.
Still got to roll the ball out on the court and play the games.
I had it, yeah, exactly. I had an issue with Harold, but it ultimately did what it did. But the injuries, the health of LeBron and AD, that's ultimately what happens. Because if they get hurt, it doesn't matter who you put in with these.
And if they had been fully healthy all year long,
they would have won.
They would have had a chance to win, that's for sure.
Well, they would have won. They would have won. Come on. They were, when AD went down, they were leading 2-1 and only down 1 point in the second quarter.
Yeah, but that was the first round. I think what people have to remember is that Anthony Davis and LeBron James had the greatest shooting series playoffs that either one of them has ever had in their career. And even though AD hasn't won championships, he's been a lot in the playoffs and he scored big numbers.
Oh, come on, Tom.
They both shot over 40%, man.
I get that, but they could have they should have beaten on it with a healthy team. They should have beaten the Phoenix Suns, and they would have beaten Denver Nuggets.
I think Phoenix,
and they would have beaten the LA Clippers.
I think Phoenix benefited from the Lakers and the Clippers being hurt.
Now people can say it's up for debate whether or not they would have beat Giannis Antetokounmpo. That's for another day. That's for another. Yeah. So
we have two of the only players who can guard Giannis in the league.
Yeah,
on the Lakers.
I agree on that. So but then again, that's neither here nor there. The Lakers,
but we didn't. It's like Trump. You can't say that. Hey, we really did win it. We did win it in 2020. You can't go around saying that, man, because you didn't win it. So
that's
you
correct.
Just got to admit that you lost it, and it doesn't matter what coulda, woulda, shoulda been.
Well, I'm hoping for better changes, a little bit better. I'm hoping to get some things shored up with whatever we can do with Dennis Schroeder. I hope that gets alleviated here in the not too distant future. And then the trade exceptions, whatever you're going to make out of it.
Great if we could get those.
Yeah, and even better if we end up using them.
Yeah. Well, we got a year to use them.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping it gets done during the course of time. So we'll see what happens. But, it is the Lakers right now that they've got their team mostly in place. So as things arrive, you would just go ahead and let us know what's out there. If you have any thoughts, LakersFastBreak@yahoo.com, @LakersFastBreak on Twitter, Lakerholics.com. There's always great articles that are coming up on there. You're going to see all those great things that you're going to be seeing there with Sean Grice, who's back, Jamie Sweet with his 5 things, LakerTom with his articles. So please check out everything that they're doing today at Lakerholics.com. Well, guys, it's been great having you on. I know that hopefully the Lakers will provide more good news for us here in the coming days. Looking forward to next week here in Las Vegas for Summer League, seeing if the kids can do anything for the Lakers, but we'll see. But, guys, it's been great having you on, and looking forward to even more good things this summer right here at the Lakers Fast Break Podcast.